Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Monday, Shavua Tov, and welcome to the Israel Brief, proudly brought to you by Lay of the Land. I'm Raleen Marks, your host, and just a reminder, if you want to read Lay of the Land's brand new original articles, you can check us out online at www.layoftheland.online. That's www.layoftheland.online, or you can like us and follow us on Facebook. And here's where it gets a little bit tricky. If you can't find us by putting in Lay of the Land, you can type in @Lotl, L-O-T-L site, and that should take you to our Facebook page. So go on, give us a like and a follow, and don't forget to invite your friends as well. And if you would like to subscribe and receive your daily Israel brief, you can click on the subscribe button below, or receive notifications every time we put up a new broadcast by clicking on the little bell icon. So without further ado, let's have a look at the big news stories making headlines in Israel today. And the big news story is that the Ministry of Strategic Affairs has released a report called Terrorists in Suits, where they've had a look at the BDS movement and international terrorism and how it kind of all networks together. And believe me, it does. And what the report has now brought to the surface or exposed is that terror groups like Hamas and the PFLP, which is the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, have infiltrated or formed part of various BDS organizations. Now, the reason for this is several-fold. On the one hand, they are trying to enmesh themselves with civil society so that it looks like there's a concern about human rights. And the other thing is that in an indirect way, they are funneling funds from philanthropists or NGOs or governments who think that they are helping the Palestinian cause by supporting these often BDS supporting NGOs. So just a reminder, what is BDS? It's the campaign to boycott, delegitimize and sanction the state of Israel. And what it does is it tries to question Israel's legitimacy as a sovereign state. So it's an attack on that front, because these groups know you can't attack Israel militarily, so maybe we need to do it through political warfare, and this is what these groups are trying to do. So the state of Israel is now appealing to governments around the world and philanthropists and NGOs, if you are going to contribute to these groups that call themselves human rights organizations, please check where your money is going to. It's very important. The other, or one of the other big issues that they have exposed is the fact that 28 well-known international terrorists form part of the upper echelon of these various BDS organizations in places as far as the UK, Belgium, South America, the US, and very importantly, South Africa, which kind of serves as the ground zero for the BDS movement. And South Africans will be very familiar with the name Leila Khaled. She, the terrorist who gave the world airline hijacking, and she sits on part of these organizations. So you can check out more of the report if you want to. I can post the link below, but don't forget, if you have any questions or comments, you can always type them in on the comment section below. Now let's have a look at what else is making news. While some would like to boycott Israel, it seems that Africa yet again is opening up. Now here's an interesting story. Headlines today that it is quite possible that Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is heading off to Morocco next month, and this is before the April 9th election. So why is it so interesting? It's interesting for various reasons. The first is that neither the Foreign Ministry or Prime Minister office here in Israel is commenting, and the other is that neither the Moroccan Communications Ministry is commenting. They've said it's just rumors. But rumor has it that the Prime Minister is off to Africa again, to yet another Muslim majority country. So very interesting, because Muslim Africa certainly seems to be opening up to Israel. Is this because they are paving the way for better ties with the Arab world? Is it because maybe Morocco wants to get closer to the Trump administration? All we know is that it's very, very interesting, and we're going to be watching this for sure. And a news broadcast wouldn't be a news broadcast without taking a look at Election Watch. As you know, we are headed towards the polls on the 9th of April for national elections, and today we look at the Likud party. Now, they are heading towards their primaries to decide who sits where on the list, and quite a lot of discussion, because in the past, quite a few anglos, especially from countries like America, where members have grown up speaking English, very well versed in American culture, have campaigned to be on the Likud list, some very, very unsuccessfully. But this year we don't seem to have a lot of representation from Anglo or English speaking countries on the Likud list. But also what we do know is that there is yet another former IDF chief who seems to be up for grabs by political parties, and that is Gabi Ashkenazi. And it looks like both Yesh Atid and Hossein Israel are trying to court this former IDF chief. So while we might not see a lot of Anglos in the Likud camp, what we are seeing is that a lot more representatives from the military echelons are entering Israel's world of politics. And one party where there does seem to be quite a fair Anglo representation is Yesh Atid, headed by Yair Lapid. So to me, this is turning out to be one of the most interesting elections we have seen in a long time. But I'd be curious to hear your thoughts. So don't forget, you can comment anytime. And I'm Rolene Marks. This is the Israel Brief, proudly brought to you by Lay of the Land.